And a big aloha. Welcome to Talk Story. I'm Cindy Palos. It's the longest running talk show on Maui, 30 years. And over those 30 years, I've known Stephen from Casanova. So glad to have Stephen here in the studio. I'm so glad that I'm going to add him to my Facebook Live. We were just looking at the weather because there's some factors going on. Originally, they thought it might rain for Thursday for the 4th of July, but now they're saying no, it's going to wait till that hurricane comes around. Monday, 50% chance of rain. Tuesday, 80% chance of thunderstorms. And Barbara, it's been increasing in size, so we will keep posting on that. Meanwhile, I don't know if a lot of people know that, of course, you with your restaurant there, you have to be aware of it. There's been a shortage of water, and there's been a cutback, and everyone's supposed to be cutting back about 10% on water usage,
The 10% is something that is easy to accomplish with just development of awareness.
Yeah.
And when it gets deeper than that, then we are going to have to make some serious adjustments. Like, if you want water, buy some Pellegrino.
That's the Italian way. I love
the
it.
Italian way to do
I'm going to start the Facebook Live. I've known you for a long time, Stephen, and I always love your joy of life and your passion for what you do and your food. And we were just reminiscing, at 30 years, it's good to kind of go back and try to remember. Have you ever thought of doing a kind of a history and accounting of what you've done over the 30 years there at Casanova?
Let me retire. And when I retire, I will have time to do that, something like that.
That's true.
I'm still very much in the here and now, in the handling the 2 restaurants I own in Maui. Yeah.
Well, it's 2. Casanova.
And Bistro Casanova in Caaonva.
Oh, of course.
Right.
That's right.
Same last name.
Yes, but not 30 years there.
No, that's 10 years only.
That's 10 years now?
Only. Yeah.
And I love going there because it's closer to me.
Right. I'm coming from there. It's just a lovely place to be.
And I love your crepes there.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about Upcountry Casanova.
Sure.
Because the big rodeo weekend's coming up this Saturday. And we're really excited and jazzed. The parade, of course, is going to be tons and tons of fun. We're excited about the before parade even, right?
Right.
You get people up there early in the morning.
Oh, boy. Our porch at the Deli, it's a prime location.
It sure is.
For once, we are the place to be. And we are offering wonderful special for breakfast. We really want to.
Are you?
Oh, absolutely. Especially if it's raining, the people are really eager to sit in our porch. But even if it's sunny.
It shouldn't be raining this, but you know what?
Right.
A lot of people would charge a fortune.
No,
because you could get it there.
It's our moment to be with our community, in our community. So I think that in these 30 years, we always succeeded in keeping our prices able that anybody can come. You can share a pizza and spend $10 per person, something like that, or you can have the best bottle of Italian wine and really splurge on your engagement dinner or in a date if you still people go out on dates. But we really make it sure that all our community can enjoy Casanova in any time for any occasion. We're big for that.
It's a huge weekend, and you've been doing this really special 4th of July. It's actually Saturday, the 6th of July party you've been doing for years. Very rarely, of course, does it come up on the 4th. But it's always been a time to shine, and it's kind of unique because you get some of the guys off the rodeo in on there with their numbers still on the back and their spurs on. And
well, I have to make a confession.
Okay.
When we opened 30 years ago, we made sure to open the day after the big weekend because we didn't know how we could handle in our very first day of operation the crowd and the situation. So we opened the doors at Casanova on July 9th, 1989, making sure that we did not have to handle immediately the crowd of even if that what meant losing some revenues.
That's funny.
Because we didn't know, oh my God, how we do that. And now we're pro. We know how to do that.
After 30 years, you got it down.
Right.
And of course, you've got an amazing band, the Deborah Vial band, and they are so great. And my gosh, they just got their no-hokus. And they got the full-on band coming up, and they're going to be playing.
Every year for that weekend, I look for entertainment that can really be, an offering to the people around. And when I saw the Deborah band that already had performed in Casanova during the Manao Radio Sunday Acoustics Day, then they won the award, I say, those are the people I want for Saturday night, because classic rock it's something that even cowboy can dig that.
I think so.
Right.
I hope so.
And obviously, all rodeo contestants are welcome free as long as they come with their numbers on.
So, that's why they have their numbers on. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you notice now, right? No, it's not a phone number that they want to give to the girls. It's the way to get in for free.
They get in free if they're wearing their rodeo number.
Right. And it's part of, repeat, giving back to our community. We were talking about history. When we took over the building, the business before I was called Partners, and Partners was really aiming to the cowboy crowd. Paniolo crowd.
Yeah.
The point is that there was no many Paniolo left to sustain a business 12 months a year. So one day we arrived to work. We were running the deli next door, the Italian deli, and the door were all left open. They basically disappeared. And that's when we look at each other and say, okay, it's our turn to give it a chance.
You and Stefano.
I mean, my partner Stefano and the other two partners, we were four at that time. And so we called Bob Longhi, that was at that time the leaseholder. And the only thing he asked me, which is your zodiacal sign? And
that is so
that was for him the only condition for me to take over the place. And when I told him I was Taurus, he said, okay, you got it, man. I trust Taurus.
I love it.
And he was right. 30 years later, you can count on Tauruses.
I know my Taurus moon. You stay in there. You're stubborn.
Steady.
You
stubborn.
Don't,
you don't let go.
You do not let go.
30 years later, I'm still there. And remembering Bob Longhi asking me, which sign are you? And that was the only interview.
Do you know that when he invested in was part of the Golden State Warriors, he did the whole team based on their astrological sign?
I'm not surprised.
And he did. He actually chose players based on their astrological sign. I think the only team in the world. It was a sports team based on astrological signs.
I hope they were not all Tauruses. You need some jumpers out there. Taurus don't jump.
No, I know I don't. I didn't ask Sammy Hagar if he jumped, but I don't know. But let's go over some of the history because it's been amazing. Now, there's two aspects to Casanova, which is really wonderful. Number one, the great food. You are passionate about your food and your wine.
Right.
In fact, we were just talking about how you hire people and how you make sure that the people you hire are also passionate about their food and know their wines.
It's the only reason to be in the food industry. If you're not passionate about food and wine, why are you here? I mean, you are much easier life in the construction, in many other industries. Yeah. Food industry is a lot of hard work.
It is. Late nights.
The schedules are really weird.
Yeah.
To have a relationship when you are in the food industry, unless you're both in the food industry. Because you go home at 11 o'clock if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so the only reason to be in the food industry, if you have a passion for it, if you have a passion for food, if you have a passion for wine, that doesn't mean you drink a lot of it. It means that you can appreciate it and share your appreciation for good food and good wine. That's how my interviews with prospective waiters or cooks start with.
How did you stay married all these years then in the food? How did you do that?
Well, first, my wife is wonderful.
She is.
She is wonderful.
And she understands business.
She
has Maui hands.
And she's... one of the legacy of Casanova building is that so many people met and fell in love under that roof, including me and my wife.
Very romantic. A lot of people
it
go
has
there.
a great karma.
Yeah.
And I have people that stop me on the street and they tell me, man, I owe you so much. Next lifetime, I want to give it back to you in terms of love and affection.
Uh-huh.
And now some of my employees were born because their parents met at Casanova.
Isn't that interesting?
And isn't it?
Wow.
Last bus girl I hired about her yesterday, when she told me the history of how she was born, I said, you're hired, because that's to me is a very deep connection that happens to us.
Wow.
So there is a good karma about love under that roof.
Well, Casanova, the name.
The name.
Casanova, and the tiramisu, for sure.
That is going.
You're famous for your tiramisu.
Actually, the name Casanova came out of one of these sessions in which, okay, let's spit out Italian name.
Uh-huh.
And the name Casanova was chosen for few reasons. One, easy to spell. Everybody knows. Even if some people spell it with two S, it's only one S.
Well, no, but you always call people call Casanovas,
and
then
then
not
the S
right.
at the end is not right. Second, makes people smile. And what else you want in a name? Makes it easy to spell and make people smile.
Mm-hmm.
What we didn't know, that was also such a strong connection to the fact that people fell in love at Casanova, and they did. Cooks, waiters, employees, first date, last date, you name them. We had them all there, including weddings. But most of all is the beginning of the story that happens at Casanova, which is the same that happened between me and my wife, and then now owns our galleries, as you know. Pana owns Maui Hands, and she's just across the street from me. And
it's a good love story. 30 years.
30 years, yes. We met at the bar.
So the next part of the whole thing is the great menu, because I'm vegetarian, and I've been vegetarian since I've been 15. But I always love your food, and I don't know, maybe it's a tie over from competing with Bob Longy, but your bread, oh my God! And partly because of that oven roasted, you have the open roasted thing for pizzas, right?
Sure.
But you make your bread special, and you have some dishes that you couldn't ever take off the menu because people just always come and have been having it for the full 30 years. They've been having their one's favorite dish, right?
That's why the menu is so big, because we can never take away something. We can always add something, but not take it away. So the menu now is 2 long pages, legal size. And, well, we hope you enjoyed it, because we also like to play with something different, something novelty. The authentic Italian restaurant that is in our name puts me some limit of the creativity we can have on that. I need to say, in these 30 years, I think in this moment is our top of the line in terms of the quality of the food we put out. My young Italian chef, Lorenzo, is really consistent in putting out something that is authentic Italian, and that's our name, but also sensitive to what is the people want here and like here. So the menu 30 years later, each feels the input of any of my chef. Each of them, and not many. In 30 years, I think I count them in one hand.
Really?
Maybe 4 or 5 executive
Very
chefs.
unusual. Yeah.
Each of them left something in that menu. His legacy is in the menu. I'm the only one who knows what. I take credit for all of them, obviously.
Favorite dishes that did.
Absolutely. The top of the line is what we call the chicken fungi, which is the fresh-made pasta with cream, garlic sauce, morsel of chicken breast, and wild Italian mushroom.
I wouldn't have guessed that one.
That's the top.
Interesting.
And is the top seller. And
I love your eggplant parmesan. It's one of the best.
Eggplant parmesan, actually, it's one of the few my recipe, and one of the few items that was in the menu when we opened the doors.
Oh, really?
And
I was glad you have it down at Bistro Casanova. It's an entree. It's an appetizer, but I always
guess where it comes from. Every day I deliver a tray of eggplant parmesan from Casanova to Bistro Casanova. Absolutely. Absolutely. I bring it down. Right. And the tiramisu. And the bread. Bread, tiramisu, and eggplant is my daily commuting between Makawao and Caron Barrett.
I had no idea. Right. Wow. See, this is what I love. I have a passion for owner-operator businesses. There's no way if it was a chain you could do that. There's no way. That's only what an owner-operator business would do. Have that commitment and do that kind of extra work to make it special.
Right. It's also the way that is our reward, I need to say, as much as you also know that. It cannot just looking at the bank account, and which goes up and down, by the way. But it has to be also the reward of sharing something that so deep into my personality, the passion for food, the passion for Italian food, and good wine, and that's the moment in which I feel like, what did you do in these 30 years? Where I shared my roots, I share my flavors, I share what I appreciate the most in life.
Where were your roots from? I never knew where you were from exactly.
I grew up in Milano, which is a big city, and just got the Olympic Games.
Business city.
Big city, fashion, and everything.
Yeah.
And I was a criminal lawyer there. I practiced.
I never knew that, Stephen.
Absolutely.
You were a criminal lawyer?
For the first 10 years of my life.
And that's heavy-duty criminal lawyer area.
So heavy-duty that one day I say, I need a sabbatical. And I took 6 months off. And in my law office, once in a while, they call me and they say, your desk is still here, right, if you want to come back. I never went back.
It could be scary. There's some heavy influences in Milan. I mean, these guys have the money people have a lot of money, and they play heavy.
A lot changed in the last 30 years.
Yes.
Milano is now the most European city in Italy.
I love
it's
it.
Most successful.
And there's some good Italian restaurants there.
Fantastic restaurant, even if sushi places are the thing. That is a testament of how international my Milano city is.
So you
I call it my
jumped
city.
over. I mean, it's a long hop from Milan to Makawao.
Well, it was not a direct flight. It went through India. It went
India.
through India.
Now, because you have a very spiritual root there. You know, you were very spiritually based.
That's where I found my rebirth from the heavy-duty criminal lawyer practice. In India, I call it a rebirth, and a new me was born there, and then I came to America.
Was that with Osho?
Osho Rajneesh, correct.
Which still has a big center there.
Oh, he's still there. He is no more there.
No, but they play his tapes there,
right,
I guess.
And they're still there, and is an experience that I never regret because it is still part of who I am now as a human being.
Do you meditate still?
I still meditate, It's not as a ritual. It's not something that I do as, every Sunday you have to do that for an hour. It's something that happens to me when I need it. It comes to me as a medicine. Meditation, medicine is the same roots.
And there are moments I never thought of that, and I've been meditating since I've been 14 every day, and I never thought of medicine and meditation as the same roots.
Is the medicine of the soul.
Interesting.
So hour of silence, it's what, again, helps me out in going through, the stress that is natural when you have about 40, 50 people working for you, and that's
that many
can
people?
Create. Between the two restaurants, yes, 50 people.
Wow, that's a big responsibility.
Every day, one of them has a problem, statistically proved.
No, I believe it.
And so going home and finding in a moment or a minute or an hour of silence, it just is a cleansing operation that is very important to me.
So you were in India, you were meditating, you were reborn. Right? Rebirth into another level of awareness from an entertainment lawyer. No, I'm not an entertainment lawyer. A criminal lawyer to India. Then India, still where from then? Yeah,
then my guru, that's the word, decided to move to the United States and to open a commune
in Seattle,
in Oregon.
In Oregon.
And it was the dream of our flower boy.
A lot of women.
City that never dies.
Oh my God, this, a lot of love.
Mythical commune in which money was not an issue, and we were all working together to build an utopian place where the only thing was there was love and communion.
And Rolls Royces.
There is a fantastic series on Netflix called Wild Wild Country.
What's it called?
Wild Wild Country. That is the history of that communion from this beginning to the end.
I have to watch it.
It's a Wild Wild Country. And I really recommend it because it shows also that the gift is also be the end.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would still be there, really? No. At a certain point after this 3-4 years experience, we all dispersed in the world and to be ourselves again, and no more followers.
Wild difference from being a criminal lawyer to being in a commune in Oregon with Osho and people and free love and
then
everything.
You guys go and you're free. And then where do we go? And some friends said, we're going to Maui. Say, where is Maui? At that time, there was no Google Map. So we had to go National Geographic and see where was Maui. And we said, oh boy, that's quite isolated. And here we come. We arrived in Maui.
What year was that?
1986. We arrived in Maui with some suitcases. And I think the capital investment we had at that time, original 6 partner was $5,000 each.
No.
You can barely buy a used car now. And that's when we walked through Makawao, and we loved the Upcountry area, and we saw a big sign for lease on the window of the now is Casanova Deli. We knock at the door and we say, what is this? And they say, oh, it's a deli. You're Italians, we can make an Italian deli. Yeah, let's make an Italian deli.
But you knew how to cook.
Every Italian knows how to cook.
That's I'm saying. Yeah, you can.
And I knew how to make eggplant parmesan.
That's my favorite.
That was the key,
Me too.
And we found they used the espresso machine, and about 2 months later, here was open.
That was it.
I think we were the first espresso. Starbucks didn't exist now.
No, it didn't. Yeah.
The first espresso machine, and we were producing.
And people
good
were
Italian
liking
food.
It pretty soon, right after.
Very soon. It was a different area.
Because there was no Italian restaurant up there.
There was no Italian. The only restaurant was
a Makawao Steakhouse,
and Police. That was the so-called competition. The original owners are gone. I'm the only one left there. Actually, me and Beverly from Alimali General Store
That's true. But
the
Beverly opened
original
after you.
She opened the restaurant after the
Yeah.
Deli, but we opened the restaurant 3 months after Beverly.
Really?
Yeah,
didn't
Ali
know.
Milo was open 3-4 months before
wasn't
Casanova
really.
restaurant, and she was a bit, how to say, spiffy
Yes.
about
Yes.
us opening
Spiffy's
that
an interesting
area.
word, yeah.
And I remember that she came for the first time. She came for dinner and ordered pasta. She asked me if we had ketchup.
No, she didn't.
She did. Okay. And
No,
I
no.
look
Oh
at her
my
and I
God,
say,
no.
no, we don't. But we can go and get it for you. I love Beverly, but she could not resist that to ask if we had
Oh,
ketchup. for
gosh.
our pasta.
That's a great story.
We
So-
did not have ketchup at that time. Now we do.
So what's the story with when the music began?
Well, I need to give credit to my partner Stefano, which he was an Italian journalist at the time. He was running a radio station in Italy before he started the same
didn't know
journey
that.
I did.
Wow.
And he was really passionate about music. The first time I met Stefano, because we have time, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, we jumped on my Mini Cooper in Milano and we drove overnight to Paris to appreciate and enjoy a show from Bob Dylan. And
You drove from
Milano
Milan to Paris to see Bob Dylan?
overnight,
I might.
12 hours on the smallest car that you can think of, and we went to a Bob Dylan concert. So Stefano
Was it a good concert?
it was great, forever young. How can you forget that?
Yeah, great
We
stuff.
all dream to stay forever young.
You
at
got to
that
watch
time.
on Netflix. There's a wonderful show, The Rolling Thunder Review.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Have you
I will
seen it
check
yet?
it out. No, not yet.
No, check it out because it's Dylan now and
Yeah.
Joan Baez and Sharon Stone was like
Whoa.
even on,
Okay.
and some inside stories about the Rolling Thunder Review. I don't know if you've met Stephen. Meet Karen. Karen Bennett.
How you
May
doing,
turn on
Karen?
your microphone
Yeah.
here. So Karen Bennett is joining us now. Yay! And hi Karen.
Aloha.
Aloha. Good to see you. We're talking story. Boy, we got some stories.
Big story. We're going back.
I never heard some of these stories before. So Bob Dylan, yes, absolutely. I love Bob Dylan. So yeah, you had a passion for music already.
He had a passion for music.
He did,
So
okay.
the first time when we finally opened Casanova restaurant, he was in charge of the entertainment and the music.
And you got some great music.
And boy, he did great. He really brought in people that I didn't even know existed. My thing was food and wine, and his
Uh-huh.
thing was that one. And as you remember, Mose Allison was
love Mose
probably
Allison.
our very first big show.
And I was there. I saw
And you
Mose
were there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And after that was one after the every weekend we were proposing big shows, and the name are still, some of them are still up on the wall. Dave Mason, Taj Mahal, Willie Nelson performed there.
Chris Christopherson.
Chris Christopherson. The list of the names. I don't want to.
Norton,
it's
Buffalo.
very long, very
Norton,
long.
dear Norton.
And then the Maui Art and Cultural Center opened, and they do that much better than we did.
Laundromat says, Stephen, you're super awesome. Great stories. And thanks for having a Maui legend on your show. And it's true.
Right.
You are a Maui legend. And it's part of Maui's history because when I remember going to those shows and it was one of those dream clubs with not only great food, but music like you couldn't imagine seeing up close and personal. Because how many people could sit in there for the show? It was only like 50 people? 60?
No. 200 is the legal capacity.
200, okay. it
And we
felt small.
squeezed them in, believe
You
me.
did,
Yeah, we
absolutely.
did. Not everybody could
Yeah,
sit.
yeah.
Actually, for some of this show, we had to make two shows, one at 9 and one at 11.
I remember, yeah.
9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Because the name were too big, and
Yeah.
so we had to split this in two nights. A lot of work, but a lot
it is a lot of work.
a lot of. We were young.
Yeah.
Therefore, we could do that. Stay up till 3:00 in the morning. Too many double Jägermeister, maybe, but
You had a good sound mixing. I remember when you put in the mixing little room back there and everything. Remember when you put that in, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
and then because you started and you built the stage out a little bit more. Remember when you built that stage out a little bit?
I need to say, when you own a business, the first 10 years you keep putting the money back, guys.
It's
If you're there and want to start your own business, just invest for the first 10 years. Every penny you make, you put it back, and you get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you don't go through that point. So yes, new sound, new looks, new things. We kept improving in that.
And you didn't have a big parking lot.
The parking lot is what it is. It's still
it
the
is,
biggest in Makawao.
I know, but there was always like people having to park up and down and around because on a big night out, it's
a big
like
night out, yeah.
But almost everyone that would go to a big show would want a dinner before as well, right? I mean, because that's such great food and everything makes it a really special night out, right?
Right. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Now things changed,
Yes.
and obviously, first because I repeat, the Maui Art and Cultural Center offers such a great venue, and we all lucky in Maui that we have such a big venue. So I don't want to talk about any kind of resentment. They do right to what we were trying to do with the 200 capacity place, and so that slowly changed and became more of a local kind of music, reggae music, and now is DJs, because that's what young people want. And
women's when did Women's Night start?
Ladies' Night.
Ladies' Night.
That was the first thing we started.
Are you going to, we won't say. Ladies' Night was when? In the beginning?
Very beginning. That was our first need to do it, and the whole point was to, give a place for people to meet. Keep in mind, no social media, no phones. How you meet? People meet at Ladies' Night at that time.
Yeah.
And I repeat, I'm responsible for a lot of children in this island, people that met at Ladies' Night at Casanova.
Yeah.
There was a line at the door. One of my pleasures was to be at the door and do that horrible job of picking who could come in and who could not come in.
Was it really at that point? There were too many people to even...
Oh, it was a long line at the door. Absolutely,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I never went,
Yeah.
Stephen.
I believe you.
I never went to Ladies'
I
Night.
believe. Nobody admits, as if there is something wrong in going to a public place or a bar, as a single, and thinking that in the music and in the dancing, you're also going to meet somebody nice. That there is no bad judgment.
No.
And
And on top of that, you saw what happened, and people really, there was a need, and you're still doing it after all these
still
30
doing.
years.
There's no more a line at the door,
Yeah.
because now they meet through social medias.
Yeah.
And they don't need to go to a bar and buy you a drink, and they come very late. They start coming around 11,
Really?
11:30.
Seriously, that late?
Oh, the rush time starts at 11, 11:30.
Wow, I never
and
would
they
have-
explain me why. You save you cannot spend too much money in drinks, and anyway,
Seriously?
all you need is a couple of hours to meet the people you want.
Wow.
So what makes it
No
is
romance.
ra-
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
not necessarily
no,
like
2 hours.
that.
Come on, there's not a little. You
Come
want
on.
to come a little early.
If Bam 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 can have your phone number and the two iPhone touch each other, and that is done. Sometimes the only thing touches each other is the two iPhones.
It's so funny. Right. But you've done some great reggae. You do some great reggae concerts there.
Friday night
Excellent.
we have a beautiful CD release party by Roots and Creation in
They're
our
great. Roots and
tradition
Creation are great.
of showcasing local bands and reggae, which is the live music that the local youth likes, and that's what makes them tick. But we are not far away from our roots in proposing on Saturday night a classic rock band, and that's where Caron comes in.
Caron, yes. Let me get you in close on that mic and make sure I didn't get a level on you yet. So say a couple words and say hi.
A couple of words and hi.
Say a
I
couple-
take direction well,
Oh,
don't
good.
I?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I got a great picture. You would have laughed at this. Caron, we were talking on my show. I'm going to bring this down because I'm beating back here a little bit. So I was talking on my morning show to Caron, and we were talking about the stick horse race
Oh yeah,
at
fun.
8:30. So she comes up with that she has a stick horse, and then she turns pink. And I said, "What's the matter, Caron?" She says, "It's a unicorn stick horse."
I think I just got all excited that I could tell you about it.
It's so haiku.
That is true.
It's great. I saw she sent me a picture. It's so cute. It's a pink, of course. It's a pink
yeah.
unicorn stick horse, right? Okay.
Yeah, the stick isn't very long because obviously it's meant for children. But
So much-
I gave it a whirl anyway.
I think you should do it. I mean, it would set a trend. You could have another sub race on Saturday morning, not just stick horses, but unicorn stick horses,
Okay.
a separate category.
Right.
It would be an interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah.
Not gonna-
No.
So you haven't met before. You know all about Stephen and Casanova.
Yeah, actually, we've met a couple of times. He just doesn't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's being 73. It's
Yeah,
a
it's-
great reason not to remember.
and we have a mutual friend, Peter Black.
Oh,
He's a really
Peter,
good friend
I
of
love
mine. Yeah,
Peter,
who doesn't love him?
And of course, we're very excited to have you here because, again, congratulations on the Nahoku Hano Hana, and you deserve it so well.
So
This last
unbelievable.
release, Giant, I mean, it has the most fabulous video you put with it. And it was so timely, and timing is everything, right?
Right, and we wanted to kind of do it. We didn't want to come out just, throwing punches or anything. We wanted to put a message across. We wanted to do it subdued. And yes, we were very good girls, and we paid for all that content. We paid all the royalties for the content because there's a lot of vintage footage in there.
Great footage.
Yeah, and I thought, and my friend lined it all up, and I think she did a great job lining up some of the marching with some of the beat. Like, she worked really hard on getting that lined up.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, folks, you can go to YouTube and put in Giant, Deborah Vial Band.
There it is.
Also on Facebook at Casanova page, you will see
you
the
have
video.
it up there? You
Absolutely.
have it up there?
Fantastic.
What do you think? I'm
Steve,
waiting for him.
Nah, you're doing great, man.
Yeah. And it took a while because a lot of people don't realize that you actually have a studio in your home, don't you?
Yes, we do. So we're lucky enough to. Well, that's because the industry's changed. I used to have a 10,000 square foot recording studio in Dallas, and then as around 2006, everybody really started recording right into the box, right in the computer. So
Yep.
we're lucky enough to have a rehearsal space and studio in our house. So we spend a lot of time there.
And you had to also make sure that you had special sound reduction and no?
Not
How much
really.
space do you have in haiku? You can just
Oh,
let
no.
it roar, huh?
Yeah,
Let it go.
Luckily, our neighbors are on the north side, so all the wind carries the sound the other way. So we're pretty lucky. No, we were good. We don't go past 8 or 9 p.m. We don't try to be obnoxious with it or anything.
Well, what a lot of people don't know, and I don't know if you know some of the stuff about the Deborah Vial Band. Karen is a collector of, I found out, amazing guitars. She has some classic guitars
Wow.
worth over $50,000 that were owned by famous people.
Don't tell
Honest-
that in the haiku house.
No.
No, they're not
the
there.
collectibles stay in
They're not there.
in a
Good.
safe place. Yeah, they're not there.
And of course, roots for her go way back where your roots went to Milan. Your roots were deep in the heart of Texas, right?
Yeah, and funny enough, I used to play in Lubbock at a place called Abbey Road, and the name of the owner was Carlos Campanelli. So what is it with the
Yeah.
Italians
Yeah,
owning all the
Campanelli,
live music?
Capelli,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, we love it.
Yes, he would always say, he would tell us, he goes, "You are not roadworthy." And we go, "What is he saying?" And he was saying we weren't roadworthy, but we couldn't understand it. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
So I love your passion for music. Thanks for always being
You're
there.
welcome.
And
Thank
let me
you.
tell you, when we play your place, I always starve myself for 2 days and have protein shakes, and then I bring
Yeah.
3 pizzas home. And the last time we played there on the acoustic Sunday, I was driving home with one hand and shoving pizza in my face with the other down to haiku.
It's so
It was
good.
hilarious.
It is so amazingly good. And
And you can do it legally.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
cannot text, but you can eat the
You can eat
pizza.
pizza
while you
and drive.
Okay.
Thank you for telling the audience that is legal to eat.
Well, I can get that. I mean, I can understand that pizza. It's hard to. I mean, and again, the crust is the crust.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Right,
Yeah.
and you always get good cheese as well. You understand the importance of good Italian cheese.
You know that when we put that wood burning oven inside Casanova, we had to have a forklift coming in through the window from Makawao Avenue, and we went front page of the Maui News because the forklift lifting the
Seriously?
wood burning oven inside the building that everybody knew as Club Rodeo and partners. All of a sudden, there is a wood burning oven coming in. It got the Maui News attention. When Maui News was the only source of information in Maui, and not anymore.
But it made a difference. That wood burning stove is the
I
best
know.
bread
It was a
and
great,
the best
it
pizza.
was
And
how you say, a great investment. And
and Jim McKeon's here saying, is the McKeon daughter's favorite restaurant in the whole wide world. Thank you, Jim. And there was another wonderful Italian that was part of the process we want to give a nod to, and that's Piero Resta.
oh boy, Piero was my best friend, and I didn't know that it's so hard to lose a best friend, and I experienced with him. And we were partners in crime. Literally. And it was a great guy. And every single piece of art in my restaurants comes from Piero, and I'm very proud of that. And sure, he ran that building as Piero's in 1981, before I was in Maui. And everybody remembers that. He was on the front, Mama was on the back in the kitchen
didn't know that.
cooking.
Oh.
He was really running it like, a small Italian trattoria. to the point that 6 months later he say enough, okay, too much work. And I had a different approach. I hire people instead of just putting mama cooking because eventually that comes tiring and exhausting. But Piero was a big guy. And there is a generation of Maui icons. We mentioned Bob Longhi, we mentioned Piero. I'm still alive, so I don't put myself in that line of thoughts.
Yeah.
But they really made our life in the 80s and 90s and in Maui so exciting and live. And
part of Maui history,
grateful.
and part of a lot of people's
history.
history.
Right.
Really, truly, I mean, places where you want to go someplace special without fail. Upcountry, I'd say you got to go to Longhi's, right? I mean, that was like where you go, and if there's a special event or a special thing going on, or especially if there's a special concert, So we were talking this morning. It's so funny, talking about playing with the Cowboys. Well, not literally playing with the Cowboys, but playing. Okay, playing to the Cowboys, I guess would be a better term. You're gonna get me laughing. But no, I mean, it's an interesting combination. So, you're going to wear your cowboy outfits, right? You're going to maybe have a cowboy hat and wear your boots maybe and get into that.
I will.
You think you're going to do that?
I've already got one cowboy in the band, so I might as well, I think I'm going to wear my...
Who's the cowboy in the band?
Eric Helmkamp. You can see on the back of the CD, he's got his cowboy hat on.
Oh,
we call
there
him
you go.
Cowboy.
Oh, you call him cowboy?
Well, he's from Indiana.
If Lady Gaga did it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a cool cowboy hat that has some spikes in it. It's got a little heavy metal flair to it. So I think I'll put that on. But you got...
I don't know, a spiked cowboy hat.
Hey, it looks pretty cool.
Like spurs, but in a hat.
But I want to also say that the Saturday night of the rodeo is not only cowboys. It's all the people
it's everywhere.
of our community.
Yeah.
The Portuguese community.
It is.
This is a big part of Upcountry
It
Maui.
is.
We have a special menu, the rodeo, club rodeo plates.
I
What's
didn't know
on
that.
it? Tell me
Prime
what's on it.
rib, baked potatoes, corn. We can do that.
I didn't know that.
And we really want to establish our continuity, our consistency with what that building represents for our community. And
I didn't know you had special plates. The club rodeo plate you bring out.
only that Friday and Saturday. Don't get too excited.
Wow.
Right?
My belly's name is Amanda, and she's very excited right now. Amanda is very excited.
Okay.
Club rodeo menu. That's amazing.
the-
With two
the-
special nights.
Yeah, and the breakfast morning when the parade goes,
That's
there
a
is
good one.
paniolo wrap. We really try to give credit and to where we are.
Well,
and
it
where we come
is
from.
Upcountry special weekend, but on top of that, a lot of visitors come in.
Absolutely, yes.
For this
is the thing to
parade.
do. Is the thing to do.
Yeah.
If you want to know Maui, it is not only the road to Hana or the big resorts. Upcountry Maui, it's one of the few places again in which you can feel part of a small community. It's a small community. It's growing. The traffic can start becoming noxious, but it's still one of the few authentic places left in Maui. So the tourists know that, and they come up, and I hope they come up Saturday night to
they
enjoy
will.
classic
They'll come
rock.
up. I want
Okay.
to see who all's going to be there Saturday night. That should be interesting. I'm excited.
It's going to be a mix. It's going to be some cowboys.
Count on
and I found it-
diversity.
Diversity is
I love
good.
that the most. That's great.
Diversity is big. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's a little bit of everything. So when you have a gig like this, tell me, I mean, you and Deborah, you're such professionals. You're always on. I mean, you're doing your stuff, and you've actually haven't toured much lately, have you? Did you do any playing? You were in Europe, actually. Strangely enough, you were just in Europe.
Oh, yeah, we were. That was actually for a wedding. Unfortunately, we weren't playing, but I was over there for a wedding, and my best friend from 8th grade got married, so I said yes last year to this
you were
wedding.
in Barcelona, weren't you?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we started off at Monte Carlo, which I thought was hilarious because I told Deborah, "Go, what about this says Monte Carlo? I don't know." We were only there one day. And then we went around the Italian coastline, so I got to go to Sicily, all these amazing places I've never been.
You went
And
to Sicily.
Yeah, then we
Oh.
wound up in Barcelona, which London's my favorite city, but now Barcelona is number
Isn't
2.
it-
What
it's
a
a-
crazy city!
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
amazing, huh?
You've been there, of course.
I've been there,
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Then we went to Spain. Obviously, we went to to Catalonia. It was so beautiful. I'm glad we got out in time because they're having a heat wave over there now.
Oh, yeah.
apparently.
Oh man,
So
yeah. And we complain about our 90 degrees.
I know.
That's
On those
110,
cities in
100, yeah.
Paris, and they are 105, 110.
Yes.
In a
Dang.
city with cement.
And a lot of them don't even have air conditioning in some of those places. So it's hard, and especially for tourists who are out there in the midday sun. Local people don't go out tripping around and hiking in the midday sun. You wouldn't find mad dogs and Englishmen are the only ones that go out in the midday sun in Europe in this kind of weather, right? But yeah, so it was cool, and that's when you heard that you got the Nahoku Hano Hano Award.
Yes,
which was,
I was in the Barcelona airport, laying there with my phone, pressing like every 2 minutes was like $5 to watch it. I didn't think there was any way
because it was
would
streaming,
win.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any way it would win. I had no idea. I mean, to not be there was heartbreaking. To not be there, but to watch on my phone, I think you've seen the video of me weeping like a baby. I couldn't get it together for like 3 hours. And I'm not really a drinker, so all my friends were drinking champagne. Deborah was, and I had my glass of water to cheers them, but I just couldn't get it together for like 3 hours. I was in the bathroom going, and this lady goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "It's okay, I just won a big award." And so we wound up sitting next to that lady on the plane. I gave her a CD, so that way she didn't think I was just a total lunatic. Because I couldn't get it together.
I need
Yes,
to
sir.
admit, that's why the day after I called your agent, I said, I want them, you guys, for the 4th of July weekend.
Thank you so much. We feel really honored to play there. And I have to tell you, that's one of my favorite gigs to play are the Sunday, the acoustic Sundays. Right. When you do that with Banana, that's
And
super
I want to
fun.
talk about these Sunday afternoons because I realized that the live entertainment at Casanova starting after dinner at 10 o'clock cuts off a lot of people of my generation.
Right.
That is 10 o'clock. Are you crazy? I'm sleeping at that time.
Yeah.
So we start taking the example from Now Radio, the first Sunday of every month. Now every Sunday we have live in Makawao Sunday afternoon. And it's exactly the same people that were there for Ladies' Night in the 90s. Now they're there on Sunday afternoon in the 2019 to follow rock and blues and
That's
the great band that
perfect.
Maui has, live band. But it's in the afternoon when, people of my generation are okay to go out and have a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Maui Midnight's 8 p.m., right? So
Yeah,
you got to
that's
get it
true.
in the afternoon. But I love playing the afternoon gigs here. So thank you so much for having us Saturday night. We're just tickled about it.
Can we go back to, and some people, I mean, I've known you for years, and truthfully, your background is amazing. Now, a couple of things that people may not know about you currently is you're very, very generous. You donate a lot of money to a lot of causes, and you are put on the board of directors for the
Maui on
Stage.
Stage.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you do real estate as another hat that you're not wearing
and
right
I
now. But
sell real estate just like this. I do. I wear the Pink Floyd T-shirts with my name tag. I don't. Yeah. What you see is what you get.
But going back to Texas days, you were playing with some of the biggest names in Texas.
Oh yeah. Wow. We've opened up for. I've opened up for Train. Chicago. We opened up for Chicago here too. That was super neat. Concrete Blonde. I mean, I can't even think about so many people. We were so lucky, but we were the people that always said yes. We would, literally one time I drove from Dallas to Austin to South by Southwest. Got all in my room, got unpacked, and got a phone call. Will you open up for Concrete Blonde tomorrow night? Yes. So we drove back to Dallas to open up for Concrete Blonde. I mean, so that's one thing we always tell other up and coming musicians: just say yes. And answer your phone, because you don't know you're going to get that one phone call. I mean, look, one phone call from Stephen. Now we're playing this cool gig on Saturday night.
Yeah. John Neff, I love John. He says, played there at Casanovas many times with Argentina Turner. Remember Argentina Turner
man,
band?
how
How cool is
are
that?
they?
He said he
Cool.
played bass for Willie and Chris there,
Right.
So, I mean, the memories go deep, and so
Now,
that's why
I want to
it's
say how the Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson gig happened.
okay.
Not that we called their agents because they could have laughed at us for a venue.
You don't have any money, yeah.
They called us from a golf course, say, "We're betting if you can have us next Saturday at Casanova."
Really?
Yes, we can. And that's how it took
Really?
about 4 days to promote it. And they came
And it sold
they-
out, of
and
course.
Obviously.
I was there.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were
there. It was
Right,
amazing,
right.
yeah.
There was only one condition, but it was easy to satisfy that, and it was the green room in my office. Willie had very clear requisitions.
I'm sure he did.
Okay,
And I think he still does.
it still does probably.
I think,
yes,
I think
the green room was my office.
Willie's
at that
reserve
time.
room.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a special reserve room. And you got to love it. And it's those kind of things. And over the years, what's amazing, too, is like a lot of the bands change. But like you say, Roots of Creation, they're a great band. I mean, they really are. And
Right.
they're Friday.
Right.
And Deborah Vial band with Caron. And the band, excellent. I mean, world class, and that's one thing that people sometimes probably get surprised of because you do get visitors here. Sure. I mean, the visitors may not have heard of the Deborah Vial band, but they're going to go in there and they're going to be blown away by the quality. Same with Roots and Creation, same with a lot of the other great bands you have.
We hope so. By the way, it's Casanova 30th anniversary, the Monday after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we really wanted to offer the best that Maui has to offer in this moment.
So on a night like this, which is, like, we were trying to figure out if it's the busiest night. I thought it was the busiest night of the year, but is it New Year's? What is the other busy night of the year for Casanova?
Okay, the busiest night of the week is the ladies' night before Thanksgiving. Okay.
Seriously?
Oh, absolutely. That's can
What?
never be surprised because nobody works on Thanksgiving. Everybody's off, and
Nah.
and that's the
Oh, my
busiest night.
God.
Ladies' night before Thanksgiving. I project that even this ladies' night before 4th of July, Wednesday night, is going to be at the level
Because
of
people are
that
taking
one.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday
Yeah,
off.
Thursday,
It's a
Friday
whole
off.
long
It's a long,
weekend.
you can
Yeah.
have an hangover easily
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
recuperate for the next
Interesting.
weekend. So, we had so many busy nights. We had so much that it's hard for me to just focus on.
So do people need to make a reservation for this Saturday?
We strongly recommend it, because especially if you want to have a table where you can enjoy the band directly, and call me, make a reservation through our website, do whatever you want, but don't come there
Well,
at
then
8 o'clock and say,
give
"What is
your-
my table?"
Give your number to people.
Yeah, you can call 572-0220, or you can visit www.casanovamaui.com, and there with the click of your iPhone, you can reserve a table for that night. Okay?
So if you're driving,
Casanovamaui.com.
I'm calling in my 2 pizzas right now. Can I get pizzas right after the gig, Steve?
There are two kind of general people that love our pizzas. One are the artists. Some of them say, sometimes we come there because we know we get pizzas after midnight. But then another thing that I can get in trouble, the cops outside Casanova are being spoiled by us in pure Italian style, and pizzas go out to the police to police cars, which saved me from a couple of speed tickets because when they saw, okay, you gave me so much pizza, I'm not going to give you a speed ticket. And
did you know about Stephen that he was a criminal lawyer in Milan?
That seems like the news of the day.
He was no, I mean that's shocking to me. I had no idea that he used to be a criminal lawyer in Milan.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when I realized that it was crazy that I left.
Then you go, I'm going to do something crazier and open a restaurant.
And there really has never been another restaurant quite like Casanova. And in the 30 years, of course, but we love Longies and what Bob was part of our history. But for what people could experience upcountry and what we saw up there and some of the magic that happened there, and of course the 4th of July weekend being part of that amazing history. Can you tell us a little bit of stories about some of the insanity and things that have happened that people might not know, the behind-the-scenes stories of things that have happened at Casanova, be it 4th of July weekend or other times?
One of the things I keep hearing is people remembering when somebody rode a horse
I
inside
heard that
Casanova
one time and time
before it was Casanova.
Uh-huh.
Very few people know what I experienced, and it was in the 90s, and HBO was shooting a special show in Maui, which was the new supermodel. And they reserved Casanova for all these amazingly looking 16, 17 years old girls to pretend to be cowboy and dance on country western dance on the dance floor. So that was part of this show. And all of a sudden, Peter Baldwin, I'm talking about another celebrity of Maui, comes in through the door riding a white horse, and the white horse would not move because he really loved the Caesar salad that was eating from the buffet, from the young Italian models there. So the horse eat all the Caesar salad. There was no more Caesar salad left.
Seriously?
And then left out and say, Peter, if one of these girls got hurt because of your horse, you call my insurance agent. I'm not going to explain to them that we just hurt a multi-million-dollar worth supermodel because you came in with a white horse.
That's a great story.
That was one of the stories that...
I had not heard that story before.
As people say, I was there, okay?
Wow.
And I was quite shaking inside.
Well, I mean, of course, who knows what will happen this Saturday, I mean, a lot of surprises may come out of the woodworks. But have you had some very famous people come who did not perform, who came there for dinner and a show that that some celebrities that might have popped in from time to time?
Jim Carrey, which came on a ladies' night, and he came with a motorbike, and I had to let him in from the kitchen door because there was a line at the door. Not only he came in, but he sat there and he started looking intensely to one of my waitress, obviously the best-looking waitress. Next thing I know, the waitress quits the job, goes away in the night with Jim Carrey on his motorbike,
Seriously?
and moves to Hollywood with him. I didn't hear from her anymore, and I don't know what happened.
Oh
but
my God.
that was, to me, the ultimate of the
Wow.
ladies' night pickup
Wow.
line at Casanova. Jim Carrey and my best-looking waitress ever.
How long ago was this?
I would say, 90s, I would call the 1,000, maybe 2003, 2004, something
That's
like
hilarious.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good story. You have some good stories.
Yeah,
And
just
doesn't-
came up now.
But you know what's interesting is because for so many years, I mean, and I'd go there when I lived up country all the time. Not as often now. I go to more Bistro Casanova, which has been 10 years, and I do end up going there more now. But you were always there at the door. When I was going there every night, I would go in, and that is one of the signs of an owner-operator business that I just adored, is that you or Stefano, and I know the nights you'd work, would be there if I came in. It was that personal service and that personal hello, welcome, good to see you, and that kind of wonderful Italian charm that people come to expect, right?
Yeah, I did that for 18 years. On my 60th birthday, I promised no more. I was developing some kind of resentment towards my customers. I was sarcastic.
No.
If they didn't like something, I was ready to say, go to police, okay? So I realized it was time for me to let it go. And now I just try to share with my people the same feeling. I don't call them manager. I call them padron di casa, which is the lady of the house or the lord of the house, translated literally. That's what I think a hostess is supposed to be. It's something more than just give you a table and sitting you down. Make you feel that you're coming in my house and you're welcome. And that's what I try to share with my people. I hope they do it.
Well, and I do love that about the caring. The caring makes a huge difference in a business. You can tell when you go in a restaurant whether someone cares or someone doesn't care.
Right.
And you know that, and that's why you make sure your whole staff cares and loves what they do, and that makes a huge, huge difference. And I have to say, Caron, about you and what you do, you don't have to really do what you're doing. You have other things you could be doing, but you just love doing your music.
I love it so much.
I know, I can tell.
I just can't tell
It's
you. Yeah, even when I was a little kid, there was a picture of me with my little Winnie the Pooh guitar, and I'm like 6 years old, and I'm running around the house with a guitar. It's always just been in my soul. So weird.
Yep, you can't help it.
And I used to invest in restaurants, and I want to commend this gentleman right here because, even the best restaurants operate on a 6% profit. I mean, that is just...
In the good months.
In a good month. So there's really an amazing formula and an amazing just everything you have to put together to have a good restaurant. We enjoy your place immensely.
And now they are complimenting each other. If there is a category of people I'm jealous of, are the musicians. When you guys are with your instrument, your music, you don't exist. We were talking about meditation before. It's the moment in which the brain doesn't exist, and you can connect to each other and do what you need to do in such a totality of your being that I'm jealous of you.
Oh, don't be. You know what? It is neat. You definitely fly away, but it's that's why a lot of musicians have a tough time when they get off stage because it's a big letdown from where you just were. So it's hard to balance that out in life. So thank you. How nice of you to say that.
Well, we only have a minute left, and you know what? I've known you for 30 years, Stephen, and I heard stories today that I've never heard before. I told you stories this morning about how we ruin headsets around here.
Oh man, look, you've got it all wound up in the wheel, don't you?
I'm
Look at
wound
you.
up in the
You're
wheel.
a mess. What are you doing, man?
I can't move. I'll strangle myself if I move here. But I just want to remind people, probably give a call or go to Casanova. The number again at Casanova?
572-0220.
572-2...
0220.
0220.
Right. I thought it was an easy number.
I should have it. I should have it memorized. Right. I used to say it every night when I started on the air here.
Casanovamaui.com. That's the easy way.
Thank you so much for coming in, Caron.
It's my pleasure, Cindy. I like hanging out with you.
See you Saturday night.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm going to be there.
It's going to be a memorable weekend. Don't miss it.